Very good morning to dear students. I am Dr. Manoj Patil from Botany Department. Currently, I am working as a Vice Principal and Associate Professor in Botany in this college, and my specialization is genetics. So, today we are going to learn about genetics. What exactly is genetics? So, you will find there is a cat, and in this cat here the two different eye colors are there, and even so many pigmentation on the skin and hairs you will find it. So, this pigmentation and the coloration which is observed there in the cat, that is due to the various genes which are responsible for these colors of the skin, color of the eye, color of the hair, right? And that actually we are going to study what exactly is the genetics. So, points which are to be covered or discussed in this topic are introduction of genetics, the definition of genetics, the concepts of heredity, concept of variations, branches of genetics, and finally applications of genetics. Now moving to introduction. The term genetics, it was first derived from the terminology genesis. The original meaning of genesis is origin or the birth. William Batson in 1905 for the first time proposed the term genetics. The overall concept, explanation and description of genetics, that is inheritance pattern in living organisms, was given by Gregor John Mendel in 1865, and hence the Mendel is known as a father of genetics. So, here you will find what? There were two scientists actually, the William Batson who for the first time coined the term genetics, but that is in the 20th century, while the Gregor Mendel who worked in the 19th century, he actually worked on the inheritance pattern, and he is considered as to be a father of genetics. Moving to the next concept. Now, what exactly is the genetics? There may be a question that define genetics. So, how to define it? Genetics, it is the branch of biology which deals with the study of heredity and variations, right? Now, what exactly is the heredity and variations? We came to know that it is a branch of science or biology that deals with the heredity and variations. But what exactly is the heredity and variations? Now, I will give you one example to you, and then you will find it or you will understand very simply. See, when a baby is born in our family or in our neighboring families or in our relatives, always the comments which are there immediately after the delivery of the baby, the comments are the color of the skin of baby looks like a mother, the eyes of the baby looks like a father, the head or the overall appearance, it looks like to be the maternal grandparents, the so and so this looks like the paternal grandparents, likewise uncle, aunt. So, we are going to compare all these characteristics with our closely related organisms, with our blood related organisms, right? And here this is what genetics actually, the heredity, transmission of characters from one generation to other generation, that is from parents to offspring, is known as a heredity, right? The characters or the traits which are transferred from one generation to other generation, that is from parents to offspring. For example, a color of a skin that is transferred from the father to his son, or a color of the hair that is transferred from mother to her daughter. That is how. This is the transmission of characters known as to be heredity, right? In brief, the passing of genetic traits, traits means characteristics, from parents to offspring is known as the heredity. Example, skin color, height, flower color, etc. There are so many examples which are shown here in the pictures. You will find it how the different traits are shown and how they are passes from one generation to other to next to next, likewise, right? So, the next concept that we will study, variations. Variations means what? The differences. Simply variations are differences. The pictures which are shown here, the bananas, the pulses, the flowers, and even the different kinds of human beings. See how the differences are there, and these differences among the closely related, means blood related organisms, they are known as to be variations, right. So, population of the same species, they are termed as to be closely related organisms. Eh? Example, variations in skin color, variation in height, variation in nature, variation in behavior, all these the variations, right. Means here you will find the color of the banana is going to be changed, you will find color of the flower, you will find there is the pulses, size, shape, morphological changes are there, maybe anatomical changes are there, physiological changes are there, all these variations are there, and all these variations they comes from one generation to another generation, and here this is how the variation is there. Variations are actually two types, the genotypic variations and phenotypic variations. Genotypic variations which are arrived due to the genes, while phenotypic variations they are due to the interaction between genes and environment, and this is very important. In brief, heredity refers to similarities while variations means differences among the individuals of the same species. Means what we defined genetics. Genetics is study of heredity and variations. Heredity means for our understanding similarities, while the variations are nothing but the differences, right. And these two types of variations which are we are studying, these two are due to the genes as well as environmental variations. I will give you one example, that the color of the skin that comes from the parents, no doubt, right. But sometimes if suppose you have been advised to study in a AC room, continuously in the AC room for 3 months or 6 months, obviously your color is going to be changed. If you will go to South India, your color is going to be changed. If you will go to North India, your color is going to be changed. If you will go to Europe, your color is going to be changed. If you will go to Africa, again the color of the skin is going to be changed. That is temporary, that is due to environmental variations. But what is permanent? That is due to genes. Means even if suppose I went to Europe for 1 or 2 years and my skin it becomes fair there due to that environmental conditions in the Europe and even my routine conditions. But when I return to India and when I used to work here in the atmosphere, regular atmosphere, especially in the summer season, again my original color will come to my face, and this is how my skin is going to be have its original color. So that variations are said to be environmental variations, nothing but a phenotypic variations, while genotypic are permanent variations and phenotypic are temporary. Now move to the next one, the branches of genetics. Genetics, they are having different types of branches. The cytogenetics means genetics of a cell. The molecular genetics means genetics of biomolecules, especially the genetic material DNA and RNA. The epigenetics means changes in the gene expression. The evolutionary genetics means the genetics of evolutionary history or the phylogeny. The population genetics means genetics of a population, right. Plant genetics means genetics of a plants. Animal genetics, the genetics of animals. The human genetics, genetics of a human. Drosophila genetics, genetics of a Drosophila. Drosophila is nothing but a fruit fly. Then microbial genetics, genetics of microorganisms. The bacterial genetics, genetics of a bacteria. Viral genetics, genetics of viruses. The fungal genetics, the genetics of fungi. So all these the branches of the different branches of genetics are there, and everywhere you are going to study what? The heredity and variations among that particular group of organisms which has to be studied. For example, if it is to be a microbial genetics, means here we are going to study the heredity and variations among the microorganisms likewise. Got it? Now next. Now the applications of genetics. There are variety of applications, and genetics is one of the most important strong pillar of the basic sciences, or even you can say life sciences. The major applications of genetics are the inheritance biology. Inheritance biology means how the traits are to be transmitted from one generation to another generation. Next, to study the different kinds of human disorders, even to study the human pathology, that is also very good studied with the help of genetics, and genetics is applied in these two branches. Then genetics is also applied in forensic science. Nowadays forensic science is an emerging branch, and where you will find what? How to find out the criminals, how to find out the family relationship, and the genetics is going to be helped. Then even genetics is helpful in pharma and medicine sector, in pharmacy, pharmacogenomics is there, in medicine sector is there, right. Next, the genetics is also helpful in taxonomy and systematics, how the phylogeny is there, evolutionary history, and nowadays the gene, according to the genes, the living organisms are classified and new systems of classification have arrived. For example, APG, advanced phylogenetic system of plants as well as animals. Then genetics is also applied in the agriculture and food technology, because the specific genes which are responsible for the crop improvement, that is what yield, disease resistance, nutritional quality, and so many other traits, they are incorporated with the help of genetics and genetic engineering. So that's why it is helpful in agriculture. Even genetic counseling, the counseling nowadays it is very important. There are so many different types of disorders, or even you can say that many people, many couples, they are not able to have their own child, and now these couples should be counseled in a proper way. And even before marriage, the both the partners, they have been counseled in a proper way, and this is how the future generations are of their maybe the sons or daughters or children, they are how they will be remain disease free, and even how they will remain healthy. As far as concerned with all these things, the genetic counseling is important. And the last but not the least, the pedigree and gender identification. The pedigree means what we call the data of many generations, which is collected and represented in a graphical format, in a table format, that is said to be a pedigree. For example, say the color blindness, the hemophilia, that even the hybridization methods which are available. So that can be studied with the help of pedigree chart, right. And this is one of the important application of genetics. And even as already I told you about the gender identification, that can be even done with the help of genetics, but it should not be misused, that you keep in your mind, right. Because science, as we know, that it is one of the important technology, advanced science, and there are so many advancements and research findings are there, but that should be used for the betterment of the human being, not for the worst things of the human being. That should be kept in your mind. And this is what about the simple introduction of the genetics, right. I think you people got get understand with the genetics. Now we will stop the lecture here, and we will continue the same thing in the next lecture about the applications of genetics. Thank you very much.